Shalom, all praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy to the elect of the nation of Israel. Whom you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the seed line of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. To you I say Shalom, and Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Radazah. This lesson is edifying and informative. Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. In the news, from the Sputnik, Pentagon's Indo-Pacific Command Chief. North Korea has missiles that can reach U.S. North Korea has missiles that can reach the U.S. This is an example of a nation that was once weak that is now strong due to the fact that it now possesses missiles that can reach the U.S., which previously it didn't. Washington Sputnik. North Korea has developed intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach the United States, but it's still questionable they can carry a nuclear payload. U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Commander Admiral John Aquilino said during a think tank event. The capacity that they've delivered and demonstrated the other day, we assess could reach the United States. Aquilino said during a discussion hosted by the Aspen Institution on Tuesday. Aquilino said the United States is still reviewing North Korea's nuclear capability. Earlier in the day, media reported that North Korea fired 2 possible ballistic missiles, and the North Koreans are always testing out their new toys. It is often reported in the news that they have fired 1, if not more, nuclear or ICBM into certain directions or in certain locations to test out their capabilities, because this nation has been beating its plowshare into swords and its pruning hooks into spears. That is to say that it has been taking its economic wealth and using it towards the research, development, and enhancements of weapons of mass destruction, including intercontinental ballistic missiles that has now been reported to be able to reach the United States. And who knows whatever else they have in the works. Because these nations are preparing for war. What war? The Third World War. According to Revelation chapter 11 verse 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. A war that will, according to the book of Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5, be fought with burning and fuel of fire. Because we are in a season of war, according to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, the 8th verse. However, you do have, or people of the nation of Israel, 2/3 of them, they continue to revel, marry, and give into marriages. So when our Lord Yahweh Shah returns after the will of the Father Yahweh as a thief in the night upon the world, they will be caught unawares, unexpectedly, and they will be destroyed in their mirth, in their folly, in their vanity, or rather vanities, because they indulge themselves in folly which they set in great dignity. This world is corrupted, man. But very soon, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai will reset this corrupted world that is currently being ruled by the wicked, who is, according to the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4, Esau Edom. The wicked. Okay? So it reads on to say, earlier in the day, again, media reported that North Korea fired 2 possible ballistic missiles. So this is a very common pattern of reports concerning North Korea firing missiles. According to sources, the projectiles likely fell into the Sea of Japan, but outside of Japan's exclusive economic zone. The broadcaster added that missiles flew 550 to 600 kilometers, or 340 to 370 miles, reaching an altitude of 50 kilometers. And this concludes the article. So before we move on to the next article, Lord's willing, let's read the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter again, because everything is filtered through the scriptures. Some may say that, oh, it sounds like a broken record, but guess what? This is a part of what the Lord has commanded us to do. To watch as well as pray. We watch by watching the news and filtering it through the scriptures and laying it on tables, making it plain upon tables rather, so that the elect may be fed. Because this is, according to the book of Proverbs, the 9th chapter, likened unto like a supper, so to speak. Okay? A marriage as well. I would encourage you, brothers and few sisters, to read the book of Proverbs, the 9th chapter, whenever you make the time to do so. Okay? It's a really great chapter. So reading on here in the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, the heathen nations. Prepare war. So prepare for war. Wake up the mighty men. Wake up your mighty men of war. Let all the men of war draw near. Draw near where? To the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is located in the Arabian Peninsula, in the Middle East. Let them come up. Let them come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And this is why the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah has dried the river Euphrates, so that the way may be prepared for the kings of the east, for these nations to come up to the valley of decision, okay, where Armageddon will be fought, the thorough woe. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Take your economic wealth and use them towards the research, development, and enhancements and modifications, same thing, of weapons of mass destruction, primarily ICBM nuclear missiles, because these are the weapons of the Lord's indignation, according to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 25. Okay, plowshares and pruning hooks are instruments of agriculture, which is a metaphor for a nation's economic wealth. Swords and spears are instruments of cruelty. The modern day sword, the modern day spear, represents the gun, the technology, the missiles, primarily, which is the blessing of the Edomites, the blessing of the sword. Psalms chapter 13, verse 17. Let the weak say, and this, again, according to this article, is an example of North Korea being boasted of, because over the course of the past few years, they've been boasting of within themselves that they are now strong because now they possess nuclear capabilities. Let the weak say I'm strong. Okay? So I'll stop here because I just wanted to hit the points. And now let's move on to the next article. This is from the Reuters. This has been another ongoing report of heat waves. Intensifying heat waves prompt health warnings for Europe and the US. I did a lesson similar to this last Friday, and we have now even more reports that came out concerning yesterday, Tuesday. A global pattern of heat waves scorching parts of Europe, Asia, and the United States intensified on Tuesday. So the heat intensified on Tuesday from last Friday. With the World Meteorological Organization warning of an increased risk of deaths linked to excessively high temperatures. And they'll obviously blame this on so-called climate change. They'll blame climate change and droughts, famines, and all different manner of different things, because they have an agenda. Americans, were facing a medley of extreme weather, from blazing heat from Texas to Southern California to smoke-choked air wafting into the Midwest from Canada's wildfires. Flood warnings were up from Vermont towns that were inundated just last week, while Tropical Storm Calvin was expected to hit the Pacific Island state of Hawaii late on Tuesday. So I believe this is around, I think we're in hurricane season, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I digress. It says the southwestern city of Phoenix, Arizona, on Tuesday recorded its 19th consecutive day in which this daily high exceeded 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, breaking its all-time record of 18 days. So the Lord has been plaguing the earth over the past 18 days with extreme heat, extreme temperatures, which is just a small prelude of the heat that the Lord is going to bring in the near future, especially during Jacob's trouble, and when those nuclear missiles detonate upon the soils of Babylon the Great America, according to biblical prophecy. As temperatures in the Arizona capital climbed to 116 degrees Fahrenheit, 47 degrees Celsius, out-of-state visitor Amit Joji 40 set out for a hike in the trails of Phoenix's Pago Park. It's like you open an oven. What scripture should come to mind? Malachi chapter 4 verse 1. Let's read that. Because guess what? The great oven door is going to open soon and bake everything upon this land. Let's get it. This is Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. What's going to cause that to happen? Nuclear missiles. Okay? Revelation chapter 9, verse 16 on down. And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, save the Lord Yahweh of hosts, those that indulge themselves in idolatry, bestiality, sodomy, pedophilia, okay, eating unclean foods, and all manner of things that are contrary to the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, that commit murder, okay, adultery, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Okay, concern especially those of our people that do that. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, save the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So the day that cometh is gonna burn all the wicked up. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 20. No, that's not 28. Well, this is a good one. This is a good one, actually. I was thinking about something else. But I'm going to read verse 4 of Psalms 28, verse 4. Give them according to their deeds, and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them after the work of their hands. Render to them their desert. Ooh, man, that's a bomb. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Chakwadash. Because they regard not the works of the Lord Yahweh, nor the operation of his hands. He shall destroy them and not build them up. And that's what's going to happen to 2/3 of the nation of Israel. When the Lord opens the floodgates of judgment, and when he opens up that great oven, okay, to burn all the wicked up as stubble that do wickedly. I believe the Psalms 21. Yep, the water Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai 8:9. It says, Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord Yahweh shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. So the fire gonna burn up them, blaze up them, cook up them, fry up them. So it reads on to say, as temperatures in the Arizona capital climb, well, I read that already, I'm sorry. She said, Goji said, if you're like making cookies, well, I didn't finish reading her first, but I'm so excited right now reading this, man. It's like you open an oven door and it's the heat wave. But Goji said, if you're like making cookies or something and you open the oven door, it's going to hit you right in the face. And that's what that fire is going to do when the Lord brings the judgment. It's going to cause the flesh of people to melt away, to consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes in their holes, and their tongues in their mouths. That's in Zechariah chapter 14. Tom Frieders, a meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Phoenix, said regional high temperatures would range between 115 degrees Fahrenheit and 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly 50 degrees Celsius, for 5 to 7 more days, if not longer. So expect to hear about more increased temperatures. It'll take probably some monsoon. I kid you not. I was almost gonna say moonshine. This is probably it'll take probably some monsoon, moonshine, thunderstorms and cooling rains to come. Hopefully, eventually, hey man, you gotta have some fun. Hopefully that will help to cool things down. Gotta have a little levity, you know. Frieder said, in the northeastern state of Vermont, thunderstorms were in the forecast for areas already saturated from recent torrential rainfall. rising the risk of more flooding. Last week, high water in the capital city of Montpelier forced road closures and trapped some residents in their homes. And I'll conclude it right here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll leave the rest of, or the link to the article in the description box of the lesson, Lord's willing. And with that, I say shalom to the elect. Lord's willing, this has been edifying and informative. Shalom.